All right, let's jump right in to a truly mind-bending piece of ancient history that completely flips the script on how our universe was made. We're looking at the Apocryphon of John, and it frames our existence not as some divine, flawless master plan, but actually as a massive cosmic mistake. If you've ever looked around and felt like the world is just fundamentally broken, well, this text from antiquity essentially agrees with you, and it provides an absolutely fascinating backstory as to why. It all boils down to this one crazy question. What if our world was created by mistake? This sets up a grand mythological narrative about a divine spark that's literally trapped in a material prison. The text we're exploring today doesn't just offer abstract philosophy. No, it offers a full-blown, almost sci-fi-esque origin story where the physical realm is an error, a flawed illusion crafted by an ignorant creator. Part 1. Revelation in the Desert. So, the story kicks off with a very relatable, very human crisis of faith. John, the brother of James, is desperately searching for the truth. He's just been confronted by a Pharisee named Armanios, who essentially mocks him, saying his spiritual teacher was a complete fraud who led him away from his traditional roots. Feeling completely lost, vulnerable, and honestly just despairing, John turns away from the temple and heads out into the total isolation of the desert. And it's out there, in that vast emptiness, that things get absolutely wild. As John is praying, a brilliant, almost blinding light appears. Within it, this shape-shifting entity manifests, literally cycling through the forms of a child, an old man, and a youth. It tells John not to panic and introduces itself as the Father, the Mother, and the Son, a singular being existing before absolutely everything else. And right then and there, it promises to reveal the ultimate hidden secrets of the universe to him. Part 2. Perfect Spirit and Cosmic Order. To understand all this, we have to zoom way, way out, far above our physical universe. This origin story starts with a flawless trinity that is completely detached from physical matter. At the very top, you have the great invisible spirit, existing purely as eternal, formless, invisible light. From this spirit emerges the very first thought, Barbolo, the perfect mother of the living. She asks the spirit for light to create, and boom, from this union comes the self-born Son, Christ. They exist together as a pristine, unified trinity of pure light. From this perfect trinity, 4 incredibly powerful lights emanate: Harmozel, Oriel, Davathai, and Eleleth. Each one possesses its own distinct power, and from them spring thousands upon thousands of angels who serve them. This establishes an unbreakable, glorious cosmic order. Think of it as a universe of pure, unadulterated spiritual harmony. Part 3. Sophia's Mistake and the Birth of Darkness. But here's where it all goes wrong. That perfect harmony, it gets totally shattered by a single rogue decision. Sophia, who happens to be the lowest of these divine emanations, or eons, gets an idea. She wants to create something entirely on her own, driven purely by her own desire. The catch is, she does this without her divine partner and without getting the consent of the higher spirit. Because she acted totally out of alignment with the cosmic order, the result is literally a disaster. What comes out of her shadow is a monstrous entity named Jeldabaoth. It's a stark contrast. While the invisible spirit is perfect, formless light, Jeldabaoth is described as an incredibly ugly, ignorant archon. Basically a ruler, with the body of a snake, the head of a lion, and eyes that flash like lightning. Now, Jeldabaoth is completely clueless about the higher realm above him. He doesn't know about his mother, Sophia, or that perfect trinity we just talked about. He looks around at the dark void and arrogantly declares himself the sole god of the universe. I am God, and there is no other. He then creates 12 other archons to serve him, and together they build our material world. But the kicker here is that this world is just a flawed, empty copy, a mere shadow of the true spiritual realm. So our entire material reality, it's basically the byproduct of cosmic regret. Sophia looks down, sees the monstrous reality she accidentally unleashed, and she just weeps. And as she cries, parts of her divine light scatter down into the dark matter of this new, broken world. She desperately calls out for help, and a higher figure named Noria descends to pull her out of the darkness, promising that her mistake will eventually be fixed and these arrogant archons are gonna fall. Part 4. Spark of Light in the Human Body. And this brings us to humanity. In this story, we aren't the crown jewel of a perfect creation. We're actually the center of the ultimate underdog story. The ignorant creator, Jeldabaoth, molds Adam out of clay. He pumps his own power into him, but nothing happens. Adam just lies there, completely motionless. The monstrous creator literally needs the higher light just to make his own creation work. So, seeing a golden opportunity to recover her scattered light, Sophia secretly sends her divine breath, a tiny spark of higher light, right into Adam's lifeless body. The second Adam awakens, he opens his eyes and realizes he's alive. But the reaction from the Archons is completely unexpected. The very beings who built his physical body look at him and absolutely freak out. They are terrified because they instantly realize that thanks to Sophia's hidden spark, this mere human possesses a light and an intelligence far, far greater than their own. In a total panic, the Archons decide they have to keep Adam distracted and trapped in physical matter. Their solution? They create Eve, hoping to anchor him to the physical world forever. But Sophia is always one step ahead. She sneaks her divine spark into Eve as well, so when Eve wakes up, she isn't some tool of subjugation. Instead, she looks at Adam and says, "Wake up, come with me." She becomes an agent of spiritual awakening. This completely flips the traditional script you might be familiar with. In this version of events, eating from the tree of knowledge is absolutely not a sin. It is a vital, heroic act of rebellion and true enlightenment. Jeldaboth is furious. He kicks them out of paradise, cursing them with hard labor and painful childbirth. But the secret is out. Adam and Eve already know the truth. Their inner light is infinitely stronger than any physical curse thrown at them by a lesser god. Part 5. The Secret Code for the Soul's Return. Okay, we've arrived at arguably the most thrilling part of this whole explainer, a literal cheat code given by the Savior. The Savior reveals to John that when a person dies, their soul naturally tries to ascend back up to the light. But it's not a free pass. The Archons act as cosmic bouncers, blocking the gates out of the material universe. To get past them, your soul has to know the exact passwords. It reads exactly like a highly classified security protocol that you have to memorize to survive the afterlife. It's literally a cosmic escape room. By invoking the names of the higher divine beings, the soul actually terrifies these ignorant Archons. At the very first gate, Jeldabaoth himself demands to know who you are. The soul's required answer? My name is Sophia. Recognizing the name of his mother and a power far above him, he gets scared and lets you through. At the second gate, facing the lion-faced Archon, you declare, "I am from Barbelo," the first thought. The Archon cowers. As you keep ascending through the middle gates, you name-drop the 4 lights, Harmozel or Isle, and so on. Every single time, the wardens tremble and step aside. And it all builds to this ultimate triumphant showdown. You finally reach the last weakest Archon. When it tries to stop you and asks who you are, you simply declare, "I am the one who is above you." Because it has no real power of its own, the Archon just vanishes into thin air. The final gates open, and the soul enters the eternal, perfect light, where there's no darkness at all, reuniting with the Father, Mother, and Son. The scattered light is finally whole again. So what does this all mean? The stakes literally could not be higher. This isn't just an interesting piece of ancient philosophy. It presents itself as a literal survival guide for eternity. If you possess this knowledge, your soul becomes pure light and escapes the cycle of matter forever. But if you don't know the secret passwords, your soul gets blocked at those gates, cast back down, and reincarnated into this material prison over and over again until the end of time. As John's incredible vision fades and he heads back into the physical world to share this massive revelation, the text leaves us with a really profound challenge from the Savior. Who has ears to hear? Having just explored this fascinating cosmic escape plan together, we kind of have to ask ourselves, are we ready to look past the material world? Wake up and recognize that unbreakable divine spark hidden within us?